Chapter 12. Entire Entities Entering Energy. Maybe there was nothing more than his decision, and maybe there was no strength in his person that he used to evoke his current situation than the changes he was going through tonight. The leaps and bounds he knew he was taking and were visible to his close friends, and the inclusion of Lindsay into his scope, his social sphere, his intellectual paradigm, and damn it, my heart. These things might be occurring because of me, or because of some predestined set of coordinated events that would lead me to it, and yet hide the inevitability of it from me. I should stop referring to myself in my thoughts, was what Jason thought about in the moments before he listened carefully to his phone to hear Danny's words once he whispered a greeting to her. I got your messages, and from Carl, and I don't know if I can handle him or anything now. And I just want you to know that, Danny said, and Jason could hear a searing pain in her voice that went beyond anything he thought she was capable of feeling. She was the strength. She was the one who appeared impervious and not simply on the surface. Sure, she could be bothered, and Carl had the ability to rattle her nerves by striking just the right topic at the exact time when she would be vulnerable. But that was masterful precision of a philosophical mind well versed in the human experience and done playfully. If something had really hurt Danny, Jason either had to start imagining worse elements were in the world than he would want to imagine, or he would need to think of Danny as being as human as he, fallible and beautiful in her fallibilities. What happened? You sound like hell just battered down your defenses, he asked. Oh, it was more of a moan. I just let someone get closer than I should have, but not as close as I want. And now I am stuck, not wanting any of this. He could have sworn he heard tears. Where are you? I'm just walking. I couldn't stay in my apartment. I couldn't stay there, and I don't know where to go or what to do. I'm just walking. But where are you? He asked again. I'm not saying because y'all tell Carl, who I know is out looking for me. He's been texting, and I think I cannot be near him now. He's Carl, Jason almost yelled. He cares for you like I do and Tabitha does. Not like you and not like Tabitha, she laughed a little. Well, not like Tabitha. Maybe you'd try to sleep with me, but she wouldn't. Well, actually, I think I have a girlfriend now, he told her, trying to wrest some normal conversation out of this stress-laden time for Danny. Really? It was less of a question than a compliment. All right, Jason, my boy. When did that happen? That was the question. Tonight, after dinner, he said, walking through the parking lot towards his car. And she's your girlfriend? The disbelief in her voice spoke of how she had not sensed Jason's personal evolution this evening. I know it sounds crazy. He got his keys from his pocket, but I picked her up and we went for coffee, and she's sitting here with Tabitha, who just went through a crazy night of her own that Carl brought Lindsay and me to help out with. Wait, what? You all are having a night out without me? And who is Lindsay? Danny, I am on the phone with you, walking away from my new girlfriend who is probably going to be driven home by Tabitha. He opened his car door. You realize this is like having my mom drive my date home, right? And I'm doing this so I can get in my car and drive to wherever you are walking around, heartbroken or worse, because for some reason you don't want Carl to find you. He sat in his car and started it up, closing the door. And Lindsay is my girlfriend. the necessity of simplifying, for the sake of being succinct in the conversation, the explanation of who Lindsay was in relation to him made him aware that he was most likely going to refer to her as his girlfriend from here on. "You're right," she said without pause, "and thank you for coming, but don't tell Carl where I am because I am so terrible right now. I think I would take up the solace he offers with so little effort." What? He realized she must really be hurting. "I am down," she confirmed, "really down. And the way Carl keeps at me is not something I would avoid if he was here right now. I know he wants me, and maybe that is what keeps my standards higher than they should have been to get what I wanted tonight." "Listen," Jason said, "I am putting you on speakerphone so I can drive, okay?" "All right," she said, and he pressed the activation button on his phone so he could drive with two hands. "Okay," he said to the air, knowing she could hear him from miles away. "I want to know two things, Danny. I need to know two things." He gave a moment so she could be ready. "Where are you?" "You are not going to tell Carl?" she asked, but it was more of a demand. "I am not. I am on the phone with you." And just then his phone beeped a tone denoting that there was a second incoming call and that it was from Carl. Oh, fiddlesticks. He used that as the innocuous filler to replace expletives not usually appreciated in common and pleasant company. "He's calling you right now, isn't he?" "No," he lied, and knew she could hear it specifically because he was so terrible at doing it. "Yes," he admitted. "But I'm not going to take the call." "Answer it," she shouted. "If you don't, he will keep calling me until I pick up." "I will call you right back," he agreed. "Answer it," she repeated. "And you promise to pick up when I call?" he asked. "Yes," she said urgently. "Answer it." Jason hung up on her and answered the ringing line from Carl, and he could tell the comedian was also driving around looking for their Danny. "Carl, go." Jason felt like this was giving him a greater adrenaline rush than he could explain logically. "Jason, she's not picking up, but her phone is on." Carl already knew they both were aware of the her he referenced. And he also held a kind of envy towards Jason, knowing that he had been the one she called. "I was just on the phone with her, and I am heading towards her," Jason reported. "Where is she?" Carl was downright jealous at this point. "I don't know yet. So I am heading north. I need to call her back, but I had to tell you to not call her while I am on the phone." Jason realized immediately that Carl would be emotionally offended by this request that sounded like a command. "Listen, man, she is hurt by something and wandering around. And I mean hurting real bad, like so bad that she is afraid she would throw herself towards the interest and affection that you lavish upon her." Jason swore he heard a sigh of relief and utter joy emanate from Carl. "But we need to find her. So here's what we are going to do, and I'm telling you this quickly so I can call her back. Man, I am all ears and hands and brains. Throw it at me," Carl said. And Jason knew his word choice was correlated to what Danny would throw at him if he got to her first. "All right. Call Tabitha and tell her to give Lindsay my number. That is first and super important." "You didn't even get her number. Jumping genius, man. Do you even know her last name?" Carl asked as a joke. "No," Jason admitted, with a form of prideful gratitude to Carl for mentioning it to him. "So tell her to get that too. Let them know what's going on and ask our Tabby to drive Lindsay home, and maybe ask Lindsay to call me when she gets there to let me know she is safe. Unless you think that is too much, in which case I would just let her call me when she feels ready to call me. Tick tock, buddy. Carl pulled Jason back from his romantic ponderings. Right, Jason jumped back to reality. I'm going to turn on the GPS on my phone, and I want you to sign in to my account with my carrier and track me on your phone. I remember your carrier, but I don't remember your sign in, Carl said. My email address, password, numeric representation of your, Tabitha's, mine, and Danny's birthdays in that order, pressing shift for every fourth character on a QWERTY keyboard, Jason said. Still? Carl asked, recalling the last time Jason had him do that to locate him in Zilker Botanical Gardens. Yeah, I'm going to change it soon so you can forget it again. Yeah, but then I only need to learn Lindsay's birthday, right? Carl was spot on and knew it. Tick tock, Jason replied. All right, all right. Carl started affirming the plan. I will call Tabitha and make sure she gets Lindsay's last name, gives Lindsay your number, and then drives her home. Then I will sign into your carrier and track you as you head to where Danny is. You got it, Jason confirmed. When I shut off the GPS, that's where she is. So you get there first. Carl reluctantly agreed to this part. Carl, if she is going through any kind of night like the rest of us are, she might actually be without defense to your advances, Jason advised. Yeah, I know, Carl admitted, and I am too much of a fallible human to not want to see her in her underwear. He said, with a brief exciting flash in his imagination, or less than that. You are nothing noble if not self-aware. Jason meant that as a backhanded compliment, and it was received as such with the reckless abandon of good humor that one would expect from someone who would be the recipient of such a backhanded compliment. And proud of it, Carl said. That's how I keep the reader wondering. Talk with you soon. And Jason hung up the phone. Driving north in the right-hand lane of the service road along the interstate highway, he looked at his phone in quick glances to turn on his GPS function. It was a momentary thing to feel this entrenched in this mission, but the moment was all he had to prove his existence, as he did in each and every moment. This immediacy of action was one that he thrilled from, and he knew it was from more than him. But it was not from something otherworldly. It was not beyond him and all observing. It was not due to the reader, but due to his genuine care for his friend. He dialed her number.